Good afternoon. Welcome back. These are Every Times. We're live right now. Terrell Thomas. I'm your host on this beautiful Friday afternoon. The whole gang is in the building. H is in the building behind the scenes doing what he does as usual. Rainy and Evan are here as well. We got a wonderful show planned for you this Friday as we get ready for the holiday break. We'll be going on a holiday break soon, so we're going to talk about a few things that entail the holiday season. We're also going to talk about some things in sports later on today. How you feeling today, H? How was your last few days off?
I was chilling, brother.
Ev, how you feel over there, good sir?
Another good week. Another good week.
Another good week. Unfortunately, we're going to start the show by reporting the loss of a life that actually took place yesterday. A rapper by the name of Lil Peep lost his life yesterday, reportedly to a drug overdose. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, and I was debating, quite honestly, if I was going to let you know this or not. I was unaware of who the cat was yesterday until I saw the social buzz of the gentleman passing and him losing his life. And although I didn't know too much about the gentleman, you know, I so many little cats. I had heard of Little Pump, Lil Peep, but I didn't know who this cat actually was. When I heard about the loss of his life, I went back and I checked his social media and saw some of his posts, and I actually saw the post before he actually lost his life. It's a sad, very, very sad thing, quite honestly. And it got me wondering about the drug culture that is in hip-hop. Now, I'm not going to lie. We know that drugs are prevalent in a lot of the lyrics and a lot of the content that has been in hip-hop for years. That's nothing new. For years, rappers and entertainers have been talking about the use of marijuana and certain drugs. And quite honestly, many folks don't even look at marijuana as a drug. So we'll put that off to the side. I'm really speaking on more of the hardcore drugs, more of the cocaine, the pills that are being popped, the Molly, the oxycodone, or whatever these particular pills that are being popped in the large amount of lean or the promethazine that are being drank and consumed. So H, I wanted to speak to the gentleman. We're gonna have a lot of open dialogue with our gentleman today for all y'all tuned in. And you can also, if you want to join the debate or join the conversation with us, do not hesitate. You can comment on Live Hip Hop Daily on Instagram or on Twitter. You can join in any of these topics and let us know what you think and vibe. And if it's dope enough, we'll speak on it on the show right here live. But the drug culture, as I mentioned, isn't anything new. It's nothing that hasn't been going on for years. We know that. H, you're a little bit older than us. You're our OG. So, I mean, that's no slight. You've been hearing it for years. Of course, music is timeless, so we know about the NWAs, a lot of the 80s rappers who were prevalent when you were a youngin', and then, of course, coming up in the 90s and being heavily involved in a lot of the hip-hop movement with a lot of key figures in hip-hop. I know you were around a lot of the drug culture. But once again, to me, and this is my opinion and my voice, I'm not one that frowns upon the cannabis or the marijuana world. So for those black, white, Puerto Rican, or Asian who consume, who grow, or whatever they may do to it, that's their business. I personally don't necessarily look at it as a drug, being as though it is a plant, something that comes from the earth. To me personally, is a drug to something that's man-made or manufactured. So these things that are mixed, manufactured, there are different chemicals involved. That is a hardcore drug. That is a drug, or to me, should be a monitored. I won't necessarily say an illegal substance, because there are times where they serve their purpose for ways to help people heal and help in things. But like anything can become addictive or can be over consumed. That's anything. That can be food, that can be sex, that could be work, that could be sleep, that could be anything. There are several things that we can be addicted to or over consume. So I also don't want to offend or make people feel slighted because I'm speaking on the drug culture right now. But that's just something that I see, especially in today's hip hop world with a lot of younger cats in the hip hop world. I see these drugs being prevalent. H, where's the fine line? Do you think the hip hop culture has gone too far? Now, I also know that recently there are reports out that Wiz Khalifa was speaking on some things that took place after the death, and he was saying that the drug culture continues the way it is. There will be another death. Like, this won't be the first one, you know, that we see. There will be another death, and I'm not too. As I mentioned, I wasn't too aware of who Lil Peep is. Some of these young cats, like I'm a hip hop journalist as well, so it is my job to know what's going on in hip hop. Some of these young cats, though, I honestly, like, I monitor and filter what I report and what I want in my realm and in my world. You know, like, what I want. Everything doesn't need to be reported on to me. You know, there are cats who will report on some things that are nonsense, and some of that drug or junkie rap to me is kind of nonsense. So I don't report it. I don't consume my mind with it. I'd rather listen to Kiss and wait for Kiss and Fab to drop and report about that than to report about a cats who are actual junkies. You know, like there are people who use drugs to become creative. So like I said, I'm not knocking the drug consumer. Please know that I'm not knocking the drug consumer at all. At all. The drug consumer, the supplier, the seller to an extent. You know, I understand how things must go. But I do, as I mentioned with anything can become addictive, anything can be over-consumed, excuse me. And in this instance, in the hip hop culture, I'm seeing that in the hip hop realm, I'm seeing the drug culture become a heavy influence to these younger cats. I'll say between the ages of 15 and 22. I'll throw it, right in there, 15 and 22. H, what are your thoughts on what I'm saying? Quite honestly, like, as I mentioned, the drug culture has been around for some time, but have we seen it at this high, this heavy?
I think I'm gonna say we seeing different drugs, I guess, because back when the earlier days, I'm gonna say how Redman and Cypress Hill and all of them was talking about weed and stuff. Certain coke was around and all that, but today it's just so many at one time. The lean, the Percocets, the Molly, it's just so many all together, and it's like they not really. I mean, they had to witness some of their friends and all that ODing and doing all that other stuff to know, like, yo, I ain't doing that. Cause back when, like I said, back in my day when I was in this joint, I had friends who was doing the bombing fluid stuff, and their reactions and the way what they did after they smoked that made me say, yeah, that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy.
What do you think about it? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I guess I'm worried. I'm worried for the youth. I'm worried for the youth of the day, man. The drug culture has definitely changed. I'm the youngest dude in the room, so I'm not that much older than the dudes that are really doing this. But for me, when I was in high school, there was no lean, there was no Molly, there was no Xanny. I mean, not for us. I mean, for maybe the people who really needed it, but nowadays, man, they got their hands on everything, and it's like people are making drugs, they like huffing it, and the young artists of today are promoting it. I had never heard of Lil Peep either, but I'm in my 20s. But these people all know who they are, and they know what they doing.
Right, and that's another thing. It's like, yo, they be promoting people like, yo, people, we don't know this dude, and I don't think his music was popular like that. I don't think so. In my world, yeah. So it's like, who the hell is this guy? No disrespect.
Yeah, his death was sad. It was more so just the culture that is in. I see, and once again, I'm not even aware of some of these cats' names, but I might see them on social sites throughout my daily day, because of course I'm following and covering and staying in tune what's going on in certain realms of the hip hop world. So sometimes these cats, they were intertwined, and I would see some of their music and see what they're doing. I'm like, wow, like I can't understand what this gentleman is saying, or I can't, it's like, wow, like that cat, Once again, I don't knock anyone who consumes drugs. That's up to you. That right there is between you and the Lord. Whatever your sins may be, those things are between you and the Lord. I don't knock any man or woman for what they do at all. However, we have to be responsible with what we do. We have to be responsible for what we do. And unfortunately, it's so sad that young man lost his life. And he's not the only one. It just happened to be that he was a known figure. But there are several folks who aren't reported, who OD and who are up and coming artists in today's culture, who feel like they gotta be at a certain high level to even come out, as a part of their persona. And they don't realize what the drugs are rapidly doing to their little bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still growing as a young man, a young woman, and you're quickly destroying your body.
Yeah, I was gonna say.